Welcome to AI Unveiled Beyond the Buzz, the podcast where we break down complex tech topics into simple, everyday language. I'm your host, Ketch, and today, in this episode, we're focusing on large language models, LLMs, and GPT. If those terms sound like a different language to you, don't worry. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clear understanding of what they are and how they impact our daily lives. Let's get started. Before we get into LLMs and GPT, let's start with the basics, a recap of what AI is. What is artificial intelligence, or AI for short? Simply put, AI is a branch of computer science that aims to create machines capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence. This includes things like understanding language, recognizing patterns, solving problems, and even learning from experience. Think of AI as teaching computers to think and learn like humans, but much faster and with a lot more data. Now, within AI, there's a special type called machine learning, where computers learn from data. And within machine learning, we have something even more advanced, large language models. So what exactly are large language models, or LLMs? Imagine having a computer that can read and understand vast amounts of text, like reading the entire content of the internet. An LLM is a type of AI that does exactly that. It processes huge amounts of text data to learn patterns, context, and even the nuances of language. Think of it as teaching a child to understand and speak a language, but instead of years of learning, it processes everything in weeks or even days. LLMs are trained on billions of sentences from books, articles, websites, and more. This training helps them understand how words and sentences are structured so they can generate human-like text. Now let's talk about GPT, which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. This might sound complicated, but let's break it down. Generative, this means GPT can create or generate text. Pre-trained GPT is trained on a large data set before it's fine-tuned for specific tasks. Transformer. This is a type of neural network architecture used, which is really good at understanding the context of words in a sentence. Think of GPT as a super smart text generator. It can write essays, create poetry, answer questions, and even have conversations, all based on the patterns it learned during training. It's like having a very knowledgeable friend who has read millions of books and can chat about almost anything. Let's make this even simpler with an analogy. Imagine GPT as a chef in a kitchen. The chef has read thousands of recipes, which we can think of as the training data, and learned how different ingredients or words go together to create delicious dishes or sentences. When you ask the chef to make a meal, they can create a new recipe on the spot based on what they know. In the case of GPT, when you give it a prompt or a question, it generates a response based on the patterns it learned. It's not just repeating information, but creating new coherent text that makes sense in context. You might be wondering, how does this affect me? Well, GPT is already being used in many ways that you might not even realize. Here are a few examples. First, customer service. Many companies use AI chatbots powered by GPT to handle customer inquiries, making support faster and more efficient. Second, content creation. Writers and marketers use GPT to generate ideas, draft articles, and even create social media posts. Third, education GPT helps students with homework, provides explanations, and even generates study materials. Lastly, healthcare. In some cases, AI is used to help draft medical reports and assist with patient communication. The possibilities are endless, and as the technology improves, we'll see even more innovative uses. Of course, with great power comes great responsibility. There are important ethical considerations when it comes to AI and GPT. For instance, privacy, ensuring that user data is protected and not misused. Bias, addressing any biases in the data that could lead to unfair or harmful outcomes. Transparency, making sure people understand when they are interacting with AI and how their data is being used. It's crucial for developers and users to be aware of these issues and work towards responsible AI usage. So, what does the future hold for LLMs and GPT? As technology advances, these models will become even more sophisticated and integrated into our daily lives. We might see more personalized AI assistants, improved healthcare diagnostics, advanced educational tools, and much more. The key takeaway is that while the technology is complex, its goal is to make our lives easier and more efficient. By understanding the basics, we can better appreciate and responsibly use these powerful tools. And that's a wrap on today's episode of AI Unveiled Beyond the Buzz. I hope this journey into the world of large language models and GPT has demystified these concepts for you. Remember, technology is here to help us, and the more we understand it, the better we can harness its potential. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. Feel free to send us your questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay curious. Don't miss out. Subscribe to AI Unveiled Beyond the Buzz podcast on your favorite podcast platform and tune in to unlock the mysteries of AI. Stay curious, stay informed. AI Unveiled Beyond the Buzz podcast is brought to you in conjunction with NXGen Technology and AI in Nigeria.